Ferrari put Alba Larsen in red, and in Shanghai, for a few moments, it looked like the story was about to explode. She had the pace. She had the front row start. She had the chance to fight at the very front. But when the weekend ended, the result was not a podium. It was not a win. It was 4 points, P8 in race 2, P18 in race 1, and 9th in the championship. So now the question has changed. This is no longer just about Ferrari signing a talented teenager. This is about whether Alba Larsen can turn Ferrari backing into Ferrari trust. Because Shanghai showed two things at the same time. The speed is real, but the execution is not ready yet. And for Ferrari, that difference matters. Tonight on Gridline F1 News, we break down Alba Larsen's Shanghai reality check, where she came from, why Ferrari chose her, and why her next races could decide how seriously Maranello keeps watching her future. Because on this grid, hype is not enough. Only proof survives. Chapter 1. Shanghai changed the story. Before Shanghai, Alba Larsen's 2026 season was mostly a story about potential. A young Danish driver. A Ferrari Driver Academy signing. A red car in F1 Academy. A teenager stepping into one of the most powerful names in motorsport. But Shanghai gave the story something more serious. Evidence. In free practice, Alba was second fastest. In qualifying, she was second again, only 4/10 behind Alicia Palmowski. That matters. Because this was not a driver lost in the midfield. This was a driver showing real pace at the front. For Ferrari, that is the first box. Speed. And Alba ticked it. But then came the races. Race 1 did not bring the points she needed. She finished 18th. 0 points. For any driver, that hurts. For a Ferrari-backed driver, it immediately changes the pressure. Then race 2 gave her a second chance. She started from the front row. The opportunity was there. A podium was possible. Maybe even a win was possible. But after the safety car restart, the race slipped away. Alba lost ground. Emma Felbermeyer took control. And when the checkered flag came, Alba Larsen was 8th. 4 points. Not a disaster, but not enough. And that is why Shanghai is so important. It did not prove Alba Larsen is slow. It proved the opposite. She has speed. But it also proved that speed alone is not enough. Because Ferrari is not testing whether Alba can be fast once. Ferrari is testing whether she can be reliable again and again. And that is the real story of her 2026 season. But to understand why Ferrari is watching her this closely, we have to go back. Not to a Formula One test, not to a secret Ferrari plan, but to the moment Alba Larsen first became more than just another young driver. Chapter 2. Where Alba Larsen came from. Alba Hurup Larsen did not come into Formula One spotlight as a guaranteed star. She came from Denmark, far away from the traditional center of the Formula One world. No Formula One seat was waiting for her. No easy road was promised. She had to build the story step by step. First in karting, then through the FIA Girls on Track Rising Stars program. And in 2023, she won the senior category. That was the first major moment. Because that program was connected to the pathway Ferrari watches closely. It was not just a trophy. It was a signal. A signal that under pressure, Alba could perform. Then came the next step. In 2024, she made her single-seater debut in Indian Formula 4. That is important because she did not have years of car racing experience behind her. She was still learning, still adapting, still trying to turn karting instinct into single-seater racecraft. And then came F1 Academy. In 2025, Alba joined the grid with MP Motorsport. She did not win the championship. She did not dominate the season. But she finished 7th overall. She delivered 7 top 5 finishes. And that was enough for Ferrari to look closer. Because Ferrari did not sign a finished product. Ferrari signed a question. Can this raw speed become something bigger? Can this young driver become consistent? Can this potential survive pressure? That is why Alba Larsen became interesting to Maranello. Not because she had already arrived, but because Ferrari believed there was something worth developing. But Ferrari does not just give out red suits for nice stories. Once a driver enters that system, everything becomes sharper. The pressure, the attention, and the consequences. Chapter 3. Why Ferrari picked her. The Ferrari Driver Academy is not just a badge. It is not just a photo opportunity. It is a filter. A system designed to test young drivers before they ever get close to Formula One. And that is why Alba's Ferrari move matters. Ferrari officially selected her for the 2026 F1 Academy season. She races with MP Motorsport. She carries the Scuderia Ferrari colors. And alongside F1 Academy, her program also includes British Formula 4. That tells us something important. Ferrari is not only giving her visibility, Ferrari is giving her mileage. More races, more starts, more mistakes to learn from, more data to study, more chances to prove whether the talent is repeatable. This is where many people get the story wrong. This is not a confirmed Formula One plan. This is not a guaranteed reserve seat. This is not Ferrari secretly preparing her for a cockpit. There is no official evidence for that. The honest version is stronger. Ferrari has put Alba Larsen into a serious development year. And now they are watching what happens. Because junior racing is not about one headline. It is about patterns. Can she qualify near the front more than once? Can she turn front row starts into podiums? Can she recover after a difficult race? Can she stay calm when the pressure gets louder? Shanghai gave Ferrari the first answer. Fast? Yes. Finished product? Not yet. And that is exactly why 2026 matters. Because after Shanghai, Alba Larsen's season is no longer about being introduced. Now, it is about response. And response is where Ferrari learns the truth. Chapter 4. The real test is recovery. The biggest mistake would be to look at Shanghai and say, Alba Larsen failed. That is too simple. The weekend was not black and white. It was not all bad. It was not all good. It was a warning sign wrapped around real speed. And for a young driver, that can be valuable. Because Ferrari now has something to study. How does Alba react when a weekend gets away from her? That is the question. Not whether she can post one strong lap. She already showed that. P2 in free practice, P2 in qualifying. The speed was there. The question is what happens after the mistake. Does she reset? Does she become calmer? Does she learn from the safety car restart? Does she turn 4 points into momentum? Or does the pressure begin to control the season? This is where Ferrari's evaluation becomes serious. Because every young driver has talent. Every academy has fast teenagers. But the drivers who keep moving forward are the ones who respond. They take the bad weekend, they study it, they remove the emotion, and they come back cleaner. That is what Alba Larsen needs now. Not a miracle, not a viral headline. A clean response. Because after one round, Emma Felbermeyer has 31 points. Alba Larsen has 4. That gap does not end a season, but it does change the story. From this point forward, Alba is not just chasing results, she is chasing trust. And in Ferrari's world, trust is harder to earn than attention. But there is another layer to this story. Because Alba is not only racing against the F1 Academy grid, she is racing against the brutal history of the Ferrari pathway itself. Chapter 5. Ferrari's Academy is not an easy road. The Ferrari Driver Academy is powerful, but it is not a guarantee. That is the part many people forget. Being connected to Ferrari can open doors, but it can also make every mistake louder, because when a driver wears red, people watch differently. Every qualifying session becomes a signal. Every race result becomes a judgment. Every missed opportunity becomes a question. And Alba Larsen is now inside that reality. She is not just an F1 Academy driver anymore. She is Ferrari's F1 Academy driver. That changes the weight of the season. For Alba, the target is not only to be fast. She has to become complete. Starts, race pace, defending, overtaking, decision-making, restarts, pressure control, consistency. These are the things Ferrari will care about. Because Ferrari does not need a driver who looks impressive for one weekend. Ferrari needs evidence that the performance can repeat again and again and again. That is why Shanghai was such a useful test. It showed the ceiling, but it also showed the work still left to do. And that is not an insult. That is development. At 17 years old, Alba does not need to be perfect, but she does need to move forward quickly, because Ferrari will support potential. But Ferrari will not wait forever. And now the calendar gives her something dangerous, a chance to recover, but also more chances to lose control of the story. Chapter 6. The next races matter more now. After Shanghai, Alba Larsen's next races are no longer just normal race weekends. They are response weekends. Montreal, Silverstone, Zandvoort, Austin, Las Vegas. Each one now carries a different question. Montreal asks the first one. Can Alba reset? Can she take the speed from Shanghai and remove the mistakes? Can she turn a promising weekend into a clean result? Silverstone asks something else. Can she perform on one of the biggest stages in junior racing? Fast corners, high pressure, big attention. A strong Silverstone weekend would matter. Zandvoort asks about control, a circuit where rhythm, confidence, and precision matter. Austin adds another twist. More pressure, more points available, more opportunity, but also more risk. And then Las Vegas brings the final question. When the season reaches the end, will Alba Larsen look like a driver moving closer to Ferrari's serious long-term conversation? Or will she look like a talented driver who still needs time? That is the real battle. Not just championship position, not just one result. The curve of the season. Is she improving? Is she cleaner? Is she learning? Is she becoming more complete? That is what Ferrari will be watching. Because in junior racing, progress can be as important as position, but only if the progress is clear. And this brings us to the 2027 question, the part everyone wants to talk about, but the part that has to be handled carefully. Chapter 7. Is 2027 really part of the story? So, is Alba Larsen being prepared for a Ferrari reserve role in 2027? The honest answer is simple. Ferrari has not announced that. There is no official confirmation of a 2027 reserve plan. There is no confirmed Formula One test program. There is no confirmed TPC program. And any video saying that as fact is going too far. But does that mean 2027 is irrelevant? No, it means the wording has to be honest. If Alba Larsen starts winning races, taking podiums, and showing cleaner execution under pressure, then the future conversation changes. Not because Ferrari promised anything, but because junior racing careers are built one proof point at a time. First, you earn attention. Then you earn trust. Then you earn bigger opportunities. And that is why Alba's 2026 season matters. A strong year will not automatically put her into Formula One, but it could keep her inside Ferrari's serious development conversation. A difficult year will not automatically end her career, but it will make the next step harder. That is the balance. No fake promise, no exaggerated secret plan, just the real pressure of being a Ferrari prospect. And for Alba Larsen, that pressure has already started. So after all the hype, all the Ferrari colors, all the attention, the question becomes very simple. What does Alba Larsen actually need to prove? Final chapter. What Alba Larsen must prove now. Alba Larsen does not need to prove she is famous. She does not need to prove Ferrari can create headlines. She does not need to prove that people are interested in the idea of a female Ferrari prospect. That part is already clear. What she needs to prove is harder. She needs to prove she can convert speed into results. She needs to prove she can recover from mistakes. She needs to prove she can stay calm when the race restarts. She needs to prove she can turn front-row pace into podium-level execution. Because Shanghai did not destroy Alba Larsen's Ferrari story. It made the story real. Before Shanghai, the story was potential. After Shanghai, the story is pressure. And pressure is where Ferrari gets the truth. If Alba responds well, 2026 becomes the season that strengthens her future. If she keeps showing speed but keeps losing points, Ferrari will still see talent. But talent alone will not be enough. That is the harsh reality. The red suit gives attention. The Ferrari badge gives opportunity. But only results create trust. And right now, Alba Larsen is standing at the beginning of the most important season of her young career. Not because Ferrari has already chosen her future, but because Ferrari finally has something real to measure. Speed, mistakes, recovery, consistency. And the next few races will tell us which side of the story becomes stronger, the hype or the proof. So what do you think? Was Shanghai just a messy first weekend for Alba Larsen? Or did it expose the exact weakness Ferrari needs her to fix? Can she turn Ferrari backing into Ferrari trust? Or will the pressure of wearing red become too heavy too soon? Comment your prediction below, and subscribe to Gridline F1 News for more clean, researched Formula One stories. No fake hype, no made-up paddock rumors, just the story behind the timing screens. Because on this grid, the truth moves faster than the cars.